Okay, hey Lightworkers. I've met our next guest before, Sue, and I adore her. And so I'm pretty excited about this interview. And also I'm a little bit nervous because I'm pretty sure I'm about to get the most loving truth of my life. Today's guest is Reverend Sue Frederick. And let me tell you, this woman has been in the numerology game since 1980, girl. Like, while some of us were still figuring out how to keep a houseplant alive, she was decoding the soul's journey through numbers. Sue is an ordained unity minister, clairaudient, soul regression therapist, and a master numerologist, and she channels messages and prayers from the angelic realm and receives wisdom from guides to help people heal from grief and find purpose. That is important work. And you're also going to find that she is wildly prolific. She's the author of 11 books, including Through a Divine Lens, Bridges to Heaven, and the Sacred Numerology Workbook, plus that newer series called Angel Up, which is, honestly, the title alone makes me sit up a little bit straighter. Now, for a little bit of personal stuff. Sue knows me from my years working with Marilyn Harper on webinars, the double digits, all of those things. And she knows me in that lane because she's been our guest on those programs. And she also knows my husband, Carl, from Helping Parents Heal programs way back before Carl and I ever met. And Carl did video production there. And Sue's been around that beautiful community as well. And so today it's going to be kind of fun because Sue's going to meet the expanded version of me. Million Dollar Lightworker energy, CEO energy, studio energy. Because here's the truth, Lightworkers. Spirituality, it's not meant to float above your life. It's meant to hold your life, especially in grief and in times of change and in reinvention and in purpose. So what do you say? Let's call her in. There she is now, right on cue. Sue, hi.
Hey, hi, Joy. How are you?
I am so good. You know what? It is great to see you. First of all, I got to say, you look amazing. And second of all, welcome to the Million Dollar Lightworker podcast, FaceTime style.
Well, I love you because you told me I look amazing when we all know that that's not true. But I'll tell you, you always look amazing.
Oh, you know, we could probably get into a little banter right here about that because I think the same thing about you. And you know, and this is us literally just hanging out, but
Yep.
we just happen to be recorded.
Yep.
So I'm so happy you're here because you've been such a trusted voice in this spiritual space for so long. And just a little catch up. Yeah, I'm still me, but I'm also now running Solopreneur Productions, and we've got studios and shows and all kinds of light-led projects. And I am just really excited for us to get to play in this version of what's happening.
Well, it's needed in the world. The world is going through so much struggle right now. And, you know, the voices like ours and the ideas that we share, this is what keeps people from losing themselves in all of the turmoil because we're shining the light on all of it.
Absolutely. So Sue, for anyone meeting you for the first time, which could be true with my list, could you give us that 20-second who you are and who you help?
Yeah, you're probably tired of hearing it, but I'm happy to gab away about it. I've been doing this work really for decades, and it's all about aligning our everyday human self with our higher soul, whether we use numerology to help us remember our birth path and why we're here, or we're using angels to help lift us into a higher perspective, our soul's wisdom. I bring the tools and I help people remember that we're all beautiful divine beings who came here on purpose.
I love that. And so what are you working on right now that feels most alive in your spirit?
Well, last year I wrote 4 angel books and a brand new sacred numerology workbook, and I thought I was done. I just told everybody I'm done with books. And then this year in January, one of my people said to me that they really wanted to see me combine the angels and the numbers into one complete book. And I was like, "Oh my gosh." And I started talking to the angels about it, and they were all about it. So, literally, right up until just before this podcast, I've been working on this huge book about how angels and numbers work together to guide us and help us and uplift us.
And so can we buy it? Is it out yet or?
Well, it'll be published in a month, and it's called Angels and Numbers Sacred. Let's see, the sacred. You know what? I can't remember the title yet, but the first part is Angels and Numbers, and I know that. So it'll be on Amazon in about a month. Um, and I'm thrilled. It has everything about numerology in it, as well as all of my angel work and how we align with angelic presence, meditations, prayers, channeled messages, as well as the extensive meaning of all of our birth paths, our personal years, our pinnacle years, our universal years, all of that good stuff. And it has been pouring through me in such a way that I am so exhausted and happy to have it finally almost complete.
It's like a midwife transformation.
It is. It's rebirth, which is perfect for this one universal year, right?
Yeah, yeah. That's exciting. It sounds like it actually might be a culmination of your life work.
Yeah, that's how I'm looking at it. I've told my people, like, this is it. Everything I know is going into this book. And that way, when it's my final breath, I can say, well, at least I really did my best and shared it as best as I could.
Absolutely. And I bet people are going to love it and are excited to get their hands on it. I mean, combining those two things in our world, that's like, that's
I
pretty
know.
powerful.
Those are such powerful tools to help us. And I've been helping clients with numbers, for decades, and then taking them on guided meditations into the heavenly realms to talk to their angels and their departed and their guides. And now I sort of get to put it all together in one book.
Wow. Well, and that could be the answer to this next question. I don't know. But so what are you most proud of, Reverend Sue, in your journey, especially during this work that you've been doing for decades?
Well, that the tools work, actually, that I've got thousands of clients who tell me I've changed their life. I've got classes that are filled with people who love this work, who say it's just transformative. Because something that's different about me, I guess, is that I've just always seen this life from the higher view, the soul's view. And that makes it even hard to be on the earth view sometimes because earthly details are sometimes beyond my ability to deal with. But I can always see it from the deeper purpose, the deeper soul's view. And so when I work with a client and they tell me their human story, I can say, "Oh, wait a minute, let's look at that from the soul's view." And for example, yesterday I had a client and she had had a very tough childhood, and we were looking at her birth path of the 8, which is all about empowering self and empowering others. And she said, when I think about who I could have been if I hadn't had such a terrible childhood, and I go, hold on a minute. Your soul says that you designed that childhood as an example of how not to use or give away your power, so that when you came through it, you would be able to empower others who lose themselves in pain and trauma. And she's like, oh, I like that way better. And so that's how we shift it, because the numbers say that we all have a divine plan and we create that before we come here. Now, none of it is limiting. It's not like, because you're on this path, you'll never have success or anything like that. It's like, this is the energy you came to master. It's what you came to learn, and your soul can navigate it however your heart leads you to navigate it.
Absolutely. It's so funny because I remember when I first started down this path, and it was 15 years ago, which in with a lot of the people that I work with and associate with, wasn't that long ago, because some of these people have been on the path for like their whole life, for 30, 40
Right,
years, And I
right.
remember somebody said to me early on, I was into some trauma drama story, and they said to me, well, that was a good creation. And I remember how it triggered me, like, what? Sue, back to books. You've written 11. I mean, that's a lot. What do you think made you so consistent? Was it discipline, devotion?
Well, I think it's really the path I came to embrace because my soul chose the 22-4 life path. And what that means is that in this lifetime, I really wanted to develop my strength, my inner strength, my outer strength, my discipline, my accomplishments. I think I had just been a very sort of mystical, not really grounded person whenever I'd incarnated before. And this was the one where I really needed to accomplish things. So it's a compulsion, I would say. It's like every time I finish a project and I go, that's it, I'm done, then I start getting nudged to do something else bigger and more comprehensive, perhaps we could say. And I have friends on the 22 path, and they're the same way. And all the master soul journeys of 11, 22, and 33, we all feel compelled to, bring our highest wisdom to the world. And I wouldn't say it's better or worse than anybody else's journey. It's just what we agreed, what we signed up for this lifetime.
I'm on the 22 path as well.
I know, Joy. I know.
Same thing, I remember my son recently, I just had my first grandbaby. And so I've been wanting to spend time with her, but I still have these organizations that I run. And my son had used the retired word.
Oh
And
my gosh.
it hit me like, what? Like,
No.
No.
Joy. 22-4s can't retire.
It's not even something that, I think here's the thing is that I've learned that you can have it all. I mean, you really
Yeah.
can have it all, especially if you're
right.
self-employed, because you
Yeah.
just work those things. I mean, you're making up your schedule anyway, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So you can have all of that.
Yeah. I mean, that's the thing about the 22-4 path. When I think about what if I just quit working and maybe saw my kids who live in other states and maybe took some trips, I know myself well enough to know that after a month of that, I would be crazy and I'd be trying to write another book. It's just who I am.
It's funny because Carl and I've decided, like, we've taken a few trips and we've decided 10 days is max. That's it. Like,
Yeah,
once
that's
we're out
it.
there, by day 8, we're usually
Yeah.
going, I think it would be nice to go home at this
I
point.
agree 100%. 100%. Yeah.
Well, let's talk about the sacred numbers, sacred numerology. Like, how do numbers actually function as navigation for the soul?
So many ways. I mean, we can look at our birth path that tells us what we came to learn and do, and we can look at our astrology. I don't call myself an astrologer, but I always add the sun sign to the birth path. So I'm a Virgo 22, and that sort of informs how I do my path. And then we look at our pinnacle cycles that are our overarching learnings. I'm in a 7 pinnacle. It's all about kind of spiritual learning and quiet retreat and writing, and I'm in a 7 personal year, which is also about quiet retreat, writing, spiritual study. So you put those together, I'll never leave the house this year. But then we look at our universal year, which is very important. And our universal year is the addition of all the numbers in the current calendar year. So when we look at 2026, we are in a 1 universal year. And my friends and clients are obsessed with understanding what this means because everyone thought, gee, when that 9 year of 2025 is complete, things will get easier. And I'm reminding everybody, rebirth. If you've given birth in this human lifetime, then birth is one of the most painful experiences. So we are giving birth to a new world. And we're doing it collectively. And that means a lot of relationships are being destroyed and examined and rebuilt, and systems that we've held dear that maybe are crumbling. We have to figure out how we want them to work in the future. I believe fully that this year of rebirth, we finally get to know our ET friends who've been with us all along on Earth, and it will be revealed and disclosed. And so we'll have to rebuild how we're going to live together on planet Earth in the new and the next.
So, what's one misconception about all of that that you witness, that you wish people would release?
Well, anybody who ever fears a number or thinks a number is bad, that's superstition. So when we look at the one universal year of 2026, what we have to think is, what does that call us each to do? So, it's sort of like saying, what is mine to do? What is my gift to do in this year of collective rebirth? Well, I know for me, it's empowering people one at a time, or in my classes or through my books, to realize that they have the power, they have the wisdom, they have the knowledge to make this a new and better world. And everybody has their own way of doing that. And so some people will do political things, some people will do spiritual things, some people will do community things. Whatever is our individual way of helping, that's what we're called to do now. So nothing in our world is ever tragic or random. Everything is part of this bigger plan of evolution. Evolution is a consistent process of growth towards the new and the better. So it's not going to be worse in the future. It's going to be different and more expansive.
It's interesting because it seems like, people really resist change. Most people resist change of any type, and yet things are constantly changing. And when I was a kid, we moved a lot. My dad was in construction and building, and I lived in 21 brand new houses by the time I was 18. And so to me, like, change was fun, change was exciting. But I noticed that, like, people really, really resist change.
Well, that's the fear of the human mind. I mean, our souls always see that bigger picture. So when you were a little girl, you had to learn to listen to your soul and not your human mind, because your human mind was going to go, well, wait, I love my bedroom. I don't want a new and different bed. I love my friends. I don't want new friends. And your soul was whispering to you, going, no, you're going to have better friends. You're going to love this new world better than you've loved your old one. That's how the soul helps us, how angels help us. So when change is scary, it's only because we're only listening to the ego, the human part of us.
Yeah, yeah. Your work, Reverend Sue, holds grief with so much tenderness. Yeah. What do you want someone to know? And I know your story, but our listeners may not. What do you want someone to know who is missing a loved one and feeling spiritually shut down?
Yeah. Well, first, my heart goes out to anyone who's walking through grief, because grief is our most difficult and most awakening spiritual teacher. And grief has been the reason I am who I am today. My husband died of cancer when I was 30, and my best girlfriend died the year afterwards. So grief has brought me on that journey of asking the important questions, which are, wait a minute, how does this universe work? If there's a loving God or a force that runs it, how could my beautiful loved ones have died so young and painfully? All these questions that grief opens us to, those are the ones that align us when we start searching for the answer, that align us with our higher truth. I learned that Paul, in his soul's higher wisdom, chose exactly the journey that he walked, and that he and I made an agreement to walk it together, that I would help him through it and stay for my own evolutionary purposes, and that his death was actually exactly part of his plan to burn up some pieces of negativity that he hadn't been able to release in other ways. Although I also know we don't have to do it through pain, we can do it through joy, but it was what his soul chose. And when we're able to really know these answers are true, and we know by meditation, by listening to what the spirits are coming to tell us, Paul has been coming to inform me and my work for 40 years since he
Wow.
crossed. So, when we listen to that and align with the wisdom we're getting from these spirits, everything changes. We'll still have that heartbreak. We'll still miss their physical presence, but we'll develop a whole new relationship with them as spirit and as spirit guides for us.
So, in your book, Through a Divine Lens, you talk about quieting the ego and aligning with the soul. What does that look like in real life when you're stressed
Yeah.
or you're busy or even when you're triggered?
Yeah. Well, there's many ways. I've been meditating every day since the 70s, and I use mantra to quiet my mind, sacred word, repetition. I know there's many different kinds of meditation, and I take clients on guided meditations all the time. But just to simply spend a few minutes repeating sacred sound to quiet the mind. And another very easy way, my favorite, is to say, angels, help me, heal me, love me, lift me, and just breathe into that sweetness. And you just feel them lifting your frequency to the higher realms. And it quiets that crazy fear mind that we have as humans. And the more you do that, it's like developing a muscle, the easier it gets. And when I started doing it in my 30s, it was very hard. And even in my 40s, I still struggled. But the older I've gotten, the more it becomes my natural state of being because I've learned how real it is and how it helps me.
I feel like you need a recording of that in your voice because the way that you say that is so calming in and of itself.
Aw. Well, I have lots of guided meditations on YouTube, and they use those kinds of prayers and to help us quiet our mind.
And is your YouTube?
At Sue Frederick.
Oh, okay, good, good, good. So, Sue, what do you do when a client wants a clear answer, but spirit, they believe, like, I know how this works, but spirit is giving a not yet energy?
So I always tell the client, I'm going to do two parts to our session. One part, I'm showing you what your numbers are calling you to do and learn and what your cycles are. And the second part is, I'm guiding you into the higher realms for you to have your own conversation with the guide. And so in the second part, I'm saying, all right, ask your guide to give you a picture of what your life looks like in 3 years, for example. And we're already in a meditative state at that point, and the client will say, oh, well, I'm seeing, I'm in a room with other women, and they'll start talking about the vision that just popped in so that they get, it's one thing to tell people things, and it's a whole different thing when they are in the higher state where they see it. That now becomes their cellular wisdom, not just what somebody else told them.
That is powerful. That is really powerful because you probably get images at that point and you're probably seeing things, but to have them say it.
And it's funny because I'm seeing it all at the same time. And sometimes I just can't, I just want to say it, but I'm waiting for them to say it first, and they'll say it and I'll go, oh my God, that's exactly what I'm seeing. And that just validates it for us, because we're both there. We're both in those higher realms.
That's awesome. That is so cool. So let's talk about purpose. I know you're big on purpose too. When someone says, I don't know why I'm here, where do you start? Like, do you start in the heart or with numbers or with guides?
I start with numbers because the way I help them understand their birth path and all of their 9-year cycles they've been through. So if we go back to the client I was telling you about, she's an 8 path and she had a very hard childhood. 8 is the number of owning our power. So as we reviewed every turning point in this lifetime so far, she could really see that everything that maybe she called a tragedy was kind of her soul trying to step up to a higher owning of her power, like the end of a relationship that didn't work, the end of a career that was too small for her.
Ah,
And when we start to see it that way, then people go, "Oh, so you're saying I need to think bigger to align with my path?" And I'm like, "Yes, it's always bigger."
it is always bigger. And I often wonder why we shy away from that, you know? I mean, what,
Because of our human selves, yeah.
yeah,
I mean, the ego is just about self protection and survival. So the ego is always going to say, well, who do you think you are to do that? Or everybody does that, or, all that negative talk just to keep us safe. But the moment we really align with our soul says, I'm a divine being like everyone else who came here on purpose to make a difference in the world in my unique way. And so it is. And we align with that.
so for people who are going through that, Sue, what is one small sign they could look for this week that they're actually being supported?
Well, in the first place, go to the angels and say, help lift me into the wisdom of my path, and do that little prayer. Angels, love me, lift me, help me, heal me, and just feel that presence. And then meditate to quiet the mind. And go look at numerology. I have a sacred numerology workbook on Amazon that's very, very helpful. And look at your birth path. Or go to my free soul path calculator at SueFrederick.com. Input your date of birth. It's free. It'll tell you exactly what your path is. And it'll definitely help you understand the bigger picture of what your soul came to do.
And I've used it. It's good.
It's
You'll get a,
really fun.
yeah, you'll get a
Yeah.
lot of information from it. So
Yeah.
you've supported people through reinvention. This is one of my favorite topics. How
Yeah.
do you hold the truth that it's never too late to become who you are?
Oh, sweetheart, we have until our final breath to get it right. And I'm in my mid 70s and I'm still trying to get it right. But we're all here to get it right before we cross. That's our desire. So, even for example, my 98-year-old mother who died last year, she had had a lot of struggles and how she was on earth. And in the final days, as her soul was preparing to cross, I had the most profound soul connections with her because I could see how she was really processing it like a soul review before she had completely left the body. And we'll do that if we've chosen a process of dying that's going to be over an extended time, then we're giving our soul a chance to do this soul review before the life is complete and make some shifts in our consciousness.
Wow, that is fascinating. Carl and I just went through that with his mother earlier in the year, and we it just reminded me of her because she was having a hard time letting go, and I never thought of it in that
Yeah.
perspective before. That's
Yeah.
fascinating.
It is fascinating. And people will say, oh, it's just dementia or something. But if you go and engage with them as if they're exactly speaking from their higher soul, you'll be amazed what happens in those conversations.
And do those people, do you often see them in a state of fear or just a state of, where it appears as dementia or?
Well, my mother had to work through, I mean, that's a really good question. One of the things she had to work through that took the death process a few, I would say, months, if not longer, was that she had been devoutly Catholic in her life. And she always believed she was unworthy because of the certain Catholic dogmas that are handed down. And she would say things like, I know that daddy's in heaven, but I'm not sure where I'm going to go. And first of all, it makes me so sad that these religions make people feel that they're unworthy or that they wouldn't go to the highest realms. We are all beautiful souls doing the best we can. And in our final breath, the angels lift us up, bring us into those higher realms for that gorgeous soul review that's done with love. No, there's no punishment. We simply see who we were and how we affected people. And that creates enormous growth.
What do you see for the future of your work and of the lightworker community overall?
Well, I think we have to really align with our power and our truth. There's a lot of light workers who are not giving uplifting information. They're giving negative or dark or what I call unhelpful information. And so I really feel that the more we can say, wait a minute, we're not going to look at this world through the earth view because it's our human ego looking at it that way. We have to look at it from the soul. And the more we understand everybody here is on a soul journey, it helps us see, wow, I can look at that person who I thought was a brilliant teacher and absorb what they taught, but also realize they were a human being on a human journey with human flaws, and that those two things can be true at once.
Yeah, absolutely. What's the invitation from the angelic realm right now that feels most important?
Oh, beautiful humans, please remember that you're all angelic beings. You have the potential of love, compassion, and goodness. Breathe into that. Take your focus away from the earthly details of pain and trauma, fear and anger. Lift up, open your heart, and reclaim your own angelic wisdom. And so it is.
Beautiful, beautiful. That is the perfect segue into what I call microwave moments, Sue. You ready for this?
I'm ready.
It's hot, it's fast, and somehow it's nourishing. I'm going to give you 5 prompts. First thing that comes to mind, no overthinking. When you hear the word integrity, what do you feel in your body?
Angel wisdom.
Okay, finish the sentence. Money is?
Energy.
Okay, the kind of impact I'm here to make is?
Empowerment of the soul's wisdom.
And then a number that keeps showing up for you lately and what you think it's whispering.
1111, reminding me that my work comes from the angels and I don't need to struggle with it.
I love that. Okay, and the last one, a simple prayer. You may have already done this one because it was so beautiful, but a simple prayer you'd offer someone who feels lost today.
Align my human self and my fear with my higher soul's wisdom so that I remember why I came to this earth world and the beautiful gifts and incredible wisdom I brought with me. And so it is.
And that is medicine. That is so beautiful. Well, Sue, thank you so much. Your voice always brings like this beautiful blend of mystical and very steady. And I know so many actually not just light workers, so many people out there today need that. And because we're building lives, we're not just having spiritual experiences, we're also in this human body, right?
Yeah,
I just
right.
want to
We're
say,
walking in two worlds. Yeah.
absolutely. And I just want to say I'm so grateful we've been in the same orbit through Marilyn Harper's world and even like we didn't even know it, but through Helping Parents Heal, the connections through Carl. And it just means a lot to have you step into my house today in the Million Dollar Lightworker style.
I've loved it so much. Got to have you on my podcast soon, okay?
Oh, that would be so fun. That would be really fun. Well, before we go, I really want you to tell everyone where they can find you, and if you have any, thing else that you want to share with them, now is a great time to do it. We'll also take that information, Sue, and drop it on the call notes as well.
All right, my website is SueFrederick.com, and any of my angel books will help you. My numerology workbook will help you, and next month, my brand new book, Angels and Numbers, will definitely help everyone. And I have classes all the time that are so fun, including I'm teaching an angel class right now, and I'm always teaching another one. And then I do group numerology readings. You'll find the next one when I post it on my website. Everything is at SueFrederick.com.
So get on her list. It sounds like she's doing a lot. And you still do private sessions, right?
Oh, every single day. Yeah.
Perfect. We'll put all the links, as I said, in the show notes. And then website. Did you have Facebook page?
Oh, yeah. 2 of them. Well, if you just write in at Sue Frederick 22, you'll find my Facebook page.
And of course, all your books, including coming very soon, Angel Up.
Angels and Numbers, yeah.
Oh, Angel Up is
Angel Up is already out. We have 3 Angel Up books and an Angel Up trilogy that are already on Amazon.
Okay. I apologize. I got that one wrong. But you know what? Any of those sound pretty amazing. I got to say, I just love when you come on the show. I love when we get to do something together. I think that you are just such a beautiful person, and I thank you for being here. Thank you for taking the time to have this conversation with me.
Love you, Joy. See you soon.
All right. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Whew. Okay, Lightworkers. Maybe we should take a breath. Inhale and exhale. Here's what I'm sitting with from Sue. Spirituality that actually supports your Tuesday afternoon or Wednesday or Thursday or whatever time you're listening to this. It's not just messages and it's not just meaning, but I felt like it was really grounded guidance, especially when you're in grief or times of transition, or maybe even that identity shift where you're like, who am I now? I've been there. And I want to say this clearly. You are not behind. You are not late. You're not too old. You're not too young. If your soul is tapping you, it's because you're still invited. Now, if you felt that spark of, I'm meant to do more with my light, this is where I tell you about Million Dollar Lightworker. It's the room where purpose meets prosperity. Clean, aligned, integrity first, so you can build impact without selling your soul to the algorithm, if you know what I mean. If you're ready to grow your mission and your income in a way that feels spiritually clean and emotionally sustainable, MDL is the room for you. And if you're not quite ready for MDL, we've got the Conscious Creator Circle, so you can still be supported, get community, and keep moving with your life purpose. All right, so go check the links that we've dropped in the chat, connect with Sue, and let your soul have a vote in your next decision. I'm Joy Roby, and I'll see you the next time on the Million Dollar Lightworker podcast.